Hello, this is Mrs. Hyman. We're going to graph the boundary as a solid line. Fundraising. The Peerless High School Student Council is planning a raffle. They have chosen 2 different types of prizes to purchase, games for $12 each and stuffed animals for $8 each. Part A. Write and graph an inequality to describe the total cost of the prizes if the Student Council wants to spend no more than $204. Well, from the problem, we know that the total cost can be no more than $204, so that means it needs to be less than or equal to $204. And we have 2 different prizes that we're working with. Games, we'll use X to represent the number of games. And stuffed animals, we'll use Y to represent the number of stuffed animals. So we need the cost of the games, which is $12 a piece, times the number of games purchased. And we're going to add to that the cost for stuffed animals, so that's $8 a piece, times Y stuffed animals. And we want that total to be no more than $204. So less than or equal to 204. So there's our inequality first that describes the total cost. The second part, we have to graph it. Okay, so let's use x and y intercepts to graph our inequality. And to get the x-intercept, we're going to put 0 in for y. So that gives us 12x plus 8 times 0 would just be 0. And we have 204. And if we divide both sides by 12, we'll get an x-intercept of 17. So we're going to put this point on our graph. This is our x-intercept. So we'll go over to the x-axis, and 17 would be right about here. And let's do the same with the y-intercept. This time we need to put 0 in for x. So if we put 0 in here for x, 12 times 0 is going to be 0, plus 8y. We have 204. This time we'll divide by 8 on both sides. And we will get 25.5. So that's our y-intercept. We'll put it right up here, just right above 25. And now, to graph our line, we need to look back at our inequality right here that we wrote. We have an equal, less than or equal to. So the equal part tells us we have a solid line. So let's graph our line. And the less than right here tells us that we need to shade it. Well, we need to determine which way we're going to shade. So let's test a point. How about let's use 0, 0 right here and see if this point works. So that means we're going to put 0 in for x and 0 for y. So 12 times 0 plus 8 times 0. And we want to know, is that going to be less than or equal to 204? So 12 times 0 is 0. 8 times 0 is 0. And 0 definitely is less than or equal to 204. So since this point down here, 0, 0 works, that means that every point that is below the line that we drew is part of our solution. So we're going to shade in everything below that line. And you'll notice that we're stopping here at the y-axis and x-axis because we're going to keep everything in the first quadrant. The reason is we're talking about games and stuffed animals, and we have to have only positive values for our stuffed animals and games. Part B. If the Student Council wants to spend exactly $204, what number of each can they buy? Well, if they want to spend exactly $204, then we're going to have to look at values that lie right on our line that we drew, because that is where it was equal to 204. And we also have to think about we need whole number values, because we need a whole number of games and a whole number of stuffed animals. So one value that we might use is if we come over here to 15, follow up to the line, here we get 3. That would mean that we have 15 games and 3 stuffed animals. So let's check that. 15 times the cost of the games, which was $12, plus 3 stuffed animals times $8, the cost of those. 15 times 12 is 180. 3 times 8 is 24. And that would give us a total of $204. We'll look at one other value here. How about if we go to about 9 games and follow that up? And it looks to be about 12 stuffed animals. So let's check that out. 9 games and 12 stuffed animals. So we're going to take 9 times 12 and add that to the cost of the stuffed animals. So 12 of those times 8. So that's 108 plus 96. And again, that equals $204. There are some other values that you can find along here, and this is how you can check it.